President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the expansion of the Nigerian Army from 8 to 12 divisions to strengthen national security. Presidential spokesperson Bayo Ononuga says the move is aimed at improving border security, protecting critical infrastructure, and boosting counterinsurgency operations to ensure faster military response to threats across the country. It says the expansion builds on the administration's investment in the armed forces and the recruitment of 28,000 additional personnel, the acquisition of military equipment, and improvement in troop welfare. Implementation will be carried out in two phases. The first phase, involving the establishment of 5th, 9th and 10th divisions and the reorganization of existing formation, is expected to be completed by September 2026. The second phase includes the creation of 83rd Division, is scheduled for completion by December. In the meantime, the Nigerian Army has declared Private Mohammed Yusuf Amutu wanted over allegations that he illegally sold military uniforms to terrorists and other criminal elements. In a statement by the headquarters, Nigerian Army Ordnance Corps said the soldiers attached to the Nigerian Army Ordnance Kit Factory has been absent from duty since June the 3rd. Preliminary findings allegedly linked him to the unauthorized sale and distribution of military uniforms. The Army says efforts are underway to arrest the suspect. It urged members of the public with useful information on his whereabouts to report to the nearest military formation or other security agencies. The Army reaffirmed its commitment to accountability, professionalism, and protecting national security. The Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, NSIB, has launched an investigation into a runway excursion involving an Enugu Air Embraer E-170 aircraft at Benin Airport. The aircraft, operating flights from Lagos to Benin, overran the end of runway 05 while landing at about 3:10 p.m. local time on Thursday. NSIB says there were 63 passengers and 5 crew members on board, and all were safely evacuated with no injuries reported. The Bureau says its investigation team arrived at the scene within minutes to gather evidence, inspect the aircraft and runway, and interview the flight crew and all the relevant personnel. The NSIB says a preliminary report is expected within 30 days, while a final report with safety recommendations will be released after the investigation is completed. Away from Nigeria, Guinea-Bissau's military government has released opposition leader and former Prime Minister Domingos Simão Pereira after a court ruled he should be allowed to travel to Portugal for medical treatment. Pereira had been arrested earlier this month on charges of financing and supporting an alleged coup attempt in October. It was among several senior politicians detained after the military seized power in November 2025, replacing President Umar Sissoco Embalo following disputed elections. His release comes days after ECOWAS called for the freedom of all detained political figures to strengthen the country's transition process. The court says Pereira's legal status will be reviewed after his 90-day medical leave ends. Relatives of victims gathered at a health center in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo's Ituri province on Thursday to collect the bodies of loved ones killed in a deadly attack. Local residents say the Allied Democratic Forces attacked the Kinkodo mining site, killing gold miners with machetes. Witnesses said many victims had their hands tied in the throat slits. Residents also report a series of recent attacks in nearby communities, with at least 19 people killed over the past 2 weeks. The ongoing violence in Ituri and North Kivu provinces continues to disrupt access to health care and is hampering efforts to contain Ebola outbreak. Health officials say the death toll from the current Ebola outbreak has now passed 1,000, making it one of the deadliest outbreaks on record. You are listening to Vicinity 95.3 FM, transmitting live from Ikejile, Ijesha. Global News will continue shortly. Thanks for staying tuned. For news updates and live streaming, visit our website at vicinity953fm.com.ng. For breaking news, you can provide us information via email at vicinitynewsroom@gmail.com or call 070-6108-3107. Now the rest of the news. The World Health Organization is urging European countries to step up mosquito surveillance as the West Nile virus transmission season begins. Locally transmitted cases have been reported in Greece, Italy, Spain, and Romania, not Macedonia, with most infections occurring between July and September. The WHO says about 1 in 5 infected people may develop West Nile fever with symptoms including fever, headache, and vomiting. In severe cases, the virus can affect the nervous system and become life-threatening. Health officials advise anyone who develops a high fever, rash, or any of these symptoms to seek medical attention. There is no vaccine or specific treatment for West Nile virus. The World Health Organization is encouraging the public to prevent mosquito bites by using insect repellent, sleeping under mosquito nets, and wearing clothing that covers the body. The United States has imposed new tariffs ranging from 10 to 12.5% on imports from 60 economies, saying the countries failed to adequately enforce bans on goods made with forced labor. The measures took effect early Friday, replacing temporary tariffs introduced after the U.S. Supreme Court struck down border tariffs earlier this year. South Africa is among the countries affected, facing the highest tariff rate of 12.5% on exports to the United States. Several governments have criticized the move. Australia described the tariffs as completely unjustified and says it will continue lobbying for their removal. New Zealand Prime Minister Christopher Luxon also said the decision is disappointing, unjustified, and harmful to global trade. A bit of sports. Jurgen Klopp has made his return to football management after being named the new head coach of the German national team. The highly respected German manager has agreed a long-term contract that will keep him in charge of the national side until July 2030. Marking a new chapter in his coaching career, Klopp, who previously enjoyed successful spells with Dortmund and Liverpool, returns to the dugout with a reputation as one of the most accomplished managers of his generation. To end global news, a recap of the major stories. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the expansion of Nigerian army from 8 to 12 divisions to strengthen national security. We told you that relatives gathered at a health center in eastern DR Congo's Ituri province on Thursday to collect the bodies of loved ones killed in a deadly attack. And lastly, you heard the World Health Organization (WHO) is urging European countries to step up mosquito surveillance as the West Nile virus transmission season begins. That was Global News, packaged and edited by Oluwafunke, Israel. Many thanks for listening. Please stay tuned for news nationwide at 6 o'clock. Good afternoon.